Fife Flyers TV, sponsored by the Bay Hotel, Fife's premier wedding venue.
Well, it's tough because everybody views consistency as wins and losses, and when we're in that business, there's times where you can be playing good hockey and not get your wins, like we did sometimes down the stretch. I thought we were, with the exception of one or two games, I thought we were pretty consistent. We were only playing just above or around 500 hockey, but it was consistent hockey. At the start of the season, when we had a lot of wins, it wasn't our most consistent hockey. Sometimes we left the wins of these games until we pulled a goalie and score two. We have a fantastic final 5 minutes where they finally get their finger out and get their act together, and we go and win a hockey game. That's how much talent we had. At times with us, it was a work ethic issue. You know what I mean? I think towards the end of the season, they figured out if we put the hard work in, we're going to get the results. And if we put the work in and we don't get the results, people are going to recognize the difference between going out for 5 minutes and working hard and can't understand why people don't get behind you. They might get excited at a game, but they leave dissatisfied because they watch 55 minutes of a team looking like they're just trying to rely on their talent instead of the hard work. And even the coaching staff struggled with that this year because we knew how good we were, but whipping these guys into a mode where they could keep it together for 60 minutes was a real challenge for us, and we got that right. And in the last half and certainly in the last third of the season, but injuries ate away at us, and as soon as we got as thin as we did with the key guys we were missing, at one point Crowder was leading the league comfortably, and he was on, basically on cruise mode. Everything he touched went into the net. He gets a severe concussion, and at that point, his season was over. Even though he came back and attempted to play, he wasn't the same player. It's funny. Hockey players can be as cynical as anybody else. And reflecting on it and looking at it, I don't really blame hockey players for being that way. A lot of places, they get treated like a piece of meat. A lot of places, they're just pawns in somebody's game. They're discarded. A split decision is made on them. They're never looked at again. You can become pretty jaded in that process, and you can really feel used. I get that. You may see that players, in the past, I've certainly had a number of guys that play for me for a number of years. And when I develop that relationship, which takes time to build because it has to be trust both ways. I have to trust the person that I'm opening up to, and they have to feel that they can trust me too. What they'll run into is a lot of coaches, maybe, not everybody. There's a lot of incredible coaches out there that are inspiring and helpful and really want to help. They also run into a number of coaches that will do anything to protect their jobs and say anything to protect their job and promise guys false things before they come to a place, and they come in with too high of expectations and are really let down. The guys know what they're getting with me. I tell them to explore this place, do their research, talk to anybody who's ever played here before, and I really tell guys that have played here and are not coming back to, we'll use them as reference, but make sure you tell about the place warts and all. It's important that they know exactly what they're getting into. And over time, as I develop these relationships with the guys, and the coaching staff develop relationships with these guys, they trust. They know that we have their best interests at heart, and we just get more and more out of them. If you look towards the end of the season, we were shorthanded again. We were shorthanded after November. We were shorthanded at the end of the season, missing 2 or 3 key guys, 4 key guys at times. And those guys gave everything right to the end. They simply ran out of steam. Everybody knows my feelings on it. I think it's fair to say that things in this league, and anybody can say, somebody on Cardiff or Nottingham, I hear different interviews, and they think they come up the Fife and get screwed. And they think they come up the Fife and they're getting bullied behind the bench. Any opposition coach that I speak to or will listen to me, I says, you whine about coming in here 3 times and getting berated. Try being the head coach in here and doing it 32 times a year. Like, all I have to do is go down a game in this building or not score in the first minute, and the place is looking like it's ready to explode. So, they only have to do it 4 times a year. And I think, boy, oh boy, aren't you lucky if that's what you're worried about 4 times a year. It's political, and everybody sees it. It's colors, you're either blue and gold or teal or red. You always feeling screwed. I've been confused by some decisions this year. I think that there needs to be more openness by the league. I think it's more work for the people involved. But, for there to be some accountability, there may be a suspension under review, like Coventry versus Manchester. But if we're not playing them that week and we're not keeping an eye on the game, we'll never know about it. And then, I talked to Danny, and he's got clips of 6 guys getting suspended for the exact same hit that his little guy did on Cazzola. And he feels hard done by. I feel hard done by. Everybody feels hard done by in the league. But, you go on a Dops decision, and Fife's fans will be going nuts because they feel it's unfair. And Nottingham's fans will be saying, well, that's very just. Nobody wants to look at it with a set of neutral glasses on and really step back and take a look at it. That being said, I thought we got screwed a couple times this year. But I'm sure everybody does. I hear from my boss every day after the game about the ice time of the local guys. That's a mantra that we've been putting out for years, and it's important that we develop these guys, because a guy like Gleason Fournier on a Cardiff sees a young guy, maybe nervous out there. He starts licking his chops and he jumps off his back, and we're going to do everything in our power to push them harder than they've ever been pushed before in the sport. And when they're rewarded with it, they'll appreciate the value of putting in the work, and they're going to be heck of a hockey players. We got a taste of what it's like to be kind of close to the top for even a glimpse, even if it was just a glimpse, and we want more of it. But it takes a change in lifestyle for them too.